We got trucks bagging out because they got cut off from another job. So they are bagging out. It's crazy. You've been here a long time. You're sitting in this nice truck though. Yes, sir. There was a little bit of footage from yesterday, and as you all can see, work is finally starting to pick up slowly but surely, because we are recovering from arguably the worst winter that I have experienced since I've been driving, which is going on 8 years now. It was horrible. This is actually the first full week of work that I have gotten in since early December. It is now Friday, and we are actually scheduled to work tomorrow, which is a plus. But right now, before I proceed, we are doing some patchwork. Basically, what patchwork is, before resurfacing the main line, which we will be doing later on in the year, we will begin on certain roads that do not have to be milled up entirely. We will just mill up patches in certain areas where the road is deteriorated extremely badly, just to cut down on budget costs. And we will fill in, like I'm in the patch right now, for instance, as y'all can see, we are going to fill that in with a material called binder. It's not the final layer. Okay, and sometime like maybe 3 or 4 months from now, you know, we'll just go ahead and resurface this entire road, and that cuts down on the budget cost, because if you have to mill the road up entirely, it's going to cost a whole lot more money. So we normally do this at the very beginning of the year or at the very end of the year. And we can do patchwork as long as the temperature is 32 degrees and rising. Whereas when we put down surface, the temperature must be 35 degrees and rising. So the milling machine is somewhere up ahead of all of those trucks. And I think today I'm just going to be hauling asphalt, hopefully. I do not want to haul both ways, especially when you are getting paid the same amount of money. And I'm on a paver. I just dumped out maybe half of my load. I'm filling in a patch, and some patches are larger than others. It all varies. But we are going to resurface this entire road with surface, which is the final layer. And it's a good sized road. I believe it's about 4 miles each way. And they have about 15 trucks on this job. Half are hauling, I think 8 are hauling milling, and the other 7 are hauling asphalt. But sometimes they will have you hauling both ways. I'm just unsure at the moment. But I'm just glad to be back. I mean, it was rough. This winter was I mean, put it this way. I only worked 4 shifts throughout the entire month of January. That's it. 4 shifts. That's how slow things were. And in February, I worked this month right here. Things just started to pick up. The beginning half of February, I was lucky to work 2 shifts at that. So it's looking good so far, but it can be unpredictable. I mean, we experienced not 1, not 2, but 3 snowstorms. But I think we are through with the snow. And in this area in Central North Carolina, we are normally lucky to receive 1 snowstorm over the winter, if that. Not including all of the rainy and cold weather that we experienced as well. It's definitely a major setback for both dump truck owners and operators, and dump truck drivers as well. But I'm about to bag up to the paver. So
we out here doing patchwork today, about 50 miles from home today. Actually, put it this way, we have to run probably about 15 miles the opposite way to the asphalt plant, then come back by our hometown and come up here. Yeah, so we got a good little run today. But Jay, he's up on the milling machine ahead of me. They got me sitting back here on cleanup. Let's see, let me put it right here. Jay, you clean up. I'm sitting right here. I can't get it. There we go. See, I'm behind that's the tack truck right there, but we cleaning up ahead of them. Back there, you see the cars coming. So we got a 1 lane. So we got to focus in. Now you see about 1, 2, 3, 4, at least 5 trucks back there at the paver, trying to pave up what we done cut up. But anyway, we just cutting up, doing patch. We're gonna pave this whole road later on. Sometime this year. It's on the schedule. But that's what we do. That's what we do. I'm gonna sit here on this cleanup most of the day. Just sit here. I'm out. There we go. I got to pull on up on the cleanup truck. We're doing this little patching. That's what they do. Every time they start a new patch, I go up to the front, get up on here, and they're gonna clean all that stuff in the road up, put it on my truck. And you got Jay up there on the milling machine right now. They milling, they patching right there. And sorry, I'm moving few trucks up here at the job site to start this patching. But for the most of the trucks, they bringing asphalt all the way about 55 miles from here. But I get to sit now. I have to go back. I'm gonna sit up here and just clean up all day. Good for me. Good for me. I'm out.
I just came off the milling machine. I didn't want to get loaded milling, and I don't want to haul both ways, especially when getting paid the same amount of money and having to travel 50 miles one way. This is a long haul, longer than usual, but it is what it is. See, we did the other side of the street already, this road. Check out those patches. And I think we have about maybe 2 shifts left. Maybe 2 more days left. We should be finishing this side up of the road. But look how long that patch is. See, some patches are longer than others, and that takes up the entire width of that lane. And another thing about patches, some of them they have to mill up extremely deep, and if they only mill up half the lane, your truck might be in a deep lean, so it's good to load from the very back to the middle of the bed. You don't want to be front heavy. Now, some of those leans are, hey, I ain't gonna lie to you, they can be scary, like a roller coaster. I just about made it out of the construction zone, and those white markings you see indicates and makes the milling machine operator everything looks good. I just have a chunk in front of my dog box up there in the front of the bed, but aside from that, everything looks good. We out here. Alright, YouTube, so I just made it back to the yard. I got signed out about an hour ago. It's about an hour commute from where I keep the truck parked to where, or from the road that we are currently patching. It's out there, and I'm just glad to be back working, baby. I don't care how long it is. As long as I'm getting paid by the hour to do it, I can take my time. I'm just glad to be back working. They gave me 30 minutes of traveling time. So it was such a horrible winter. I mean, between the months of mid-December through mid-February, I probably only worked 12 shifts, if that. That's how slow things were. And again, we received 3 snowstorms along with a lot of rain. It was cold, so it took much longer for the ground to thaw out. And you just couldn't get any kind of dump truck work accomplished in that kind of climate and those kind of temperature environments. The ground was frozen. I mean, you couldn't really haul dirt, and when hauling stone, they couldn't get the grade right, and it was still soft. So it wasn't looking too good for both us dump truck owners and operators and dump truck drivers. But nonetheless, things are starting to pick up slowly but surely. I think that if the economy can hold on, because that's something that's unpredictable at the moment, then we will have a good year. But that is out of our control. So I'm gonna just focus on what I can control, and that is running this one dump truck and doing it in a smart manner. And speaking of one dump truck, that is what this video is actually about, because so many assume that it takes a fleet of dump trucks for a small independent dump truck business to make money. And that is true to a certain extent. Unless you have your own dedicated work in contracts, then I highly recommend, unless your trucks are paid for, that is, that you think twice about trying to expand too quick. Because check this out, when your truck is sitting on the yard in the wintertime, you are still responsible for making that truck payment. You are still responsible for paying on that insurance. And to keep the wheels turning on these trucks, you have to depend on drivers. And to keep drivers satisfied, a lot of owners and operators guarantee them a minimum salary each week, whether they earn it or not. And most owners and operators that I know guarantee their drivers a minimum of 20 hours a week. So in my case, I am the primary driver of my one dump truck, unless my father helps me out when we work day and night. He might work half of a shift and I work the other half. But aside from that, I am the only driver of this dump truck, which allows for me to keep my overhead at the absolute very minimum. I'm trying to keep my debt at the minimum as well. I'm not trying to bite off more than what I contribute, because when you have multiple trucks, you have to depend on drivers. And speaking of drivers again, you have some good drivers and you have some bad drivers. Drivers can definitely make or break your operation. And even if you don't have a truck payment, if you get the wrong drivers, they can make it feel like you are paying for a new truck, because they can tear up stuff. I mean, if they are not tearing up stuff, they are getting into accidents, which is raising up your insurance. And don't let it be a lawsuit, because I've seen lawsuits almost take owners and operators out of business. See, here's the kick. Drivers, most of them are there for that paycheck. You know, you have some good ones, right? But even then, I was a driver once, and it took for me to become an owner-operator to fully respect my equipment. Although I was driving for my father and my uncle's company, I took care of the truck. But when you are fully responsible for the entire operation, you are extra careful. You don't want to have to pay out any unnecessary money. So again, a driver can break or make you. And to avoid that, again, don't
grow too quick. I mean, maybe 2 to 3 trucks is reasonable, but 4 to 5, again, unless you have your own dedicated work, then I highly recommend against it when starting out. Now, I am going to eventually expand to a second or third truck. I've been in business, I've been an owner-operator for 1.5 years now, so I feel that I need to pay my dad down before I decide to buy a second or a third truck. You know, because I don't want to be put in a position where I'm going to be spending out more money, potentially more money than I make. Because you don't get me wrong, you revenue more. The more trucks you have, the more you revenue. But at the same time, you are taking a risk. It only takes that one incident or that one repair to set you back. I mean, you can make $15,000. You can make that $15,000, and as easy as you make it, you can lose it. That's all it takes. That one accident. It might not be your fault, or it just might be something unfortunate happened to your truck, and I'm trying to avoid that at all costs. I'm trying to keep my overhead at the absolute very minimum. I'm trying to keep my dad low, and I pretty much know how to budget and maintain my finances. I'm not in a rush to expand my company. I'm not in a business to get rich quickly. I mean, I'm trying to make enough where I can survive comfortably without biting off more than I can chew. I'm not trying to put myself in a bind where, for instance, the way this economy is looking, if I want to get out, I want to get out as easy as possible. I'm not trying to take on a lot by having more trucks than I can take on, because the economy is unpredictable right now. By me having one truck puts me into a position where if I need to get out of business, I can do so quickly and smartly without having to panic. One truck. I'm trying to start off with, like, that's what I'm doing. One truck. I'm not trying to grow too quick. I know how much money I'm going to revenue. I have an idea on how much money I revenue. So I know how to budget and maintain my finances without overdoing it. I'm not splurging. I'm not doing none of that. I'm taking my time. I'm growing steadily. And that's my philosophy. Hey, some might disagree, but those that have those multiple truck notes, and when that truck is sitting still, it's not making you any money, you're responsible for paying on that insurance and that truck payment, keeping your driver satisfied, your registration, it costs. Not including the cost to maintain these trucks. It costs. It's not a cheap business. It's not a cheap business. People think you can buy 3 to 4 dump trucks within a year or two and get rich. Those are the first ones out of business. I've seen that happen time and time again. See, my broker, I do work underneath the broker. He keeps me very busy. He has dedicated day and night work. See, he's been doing it for a long time. He started out small. He didn't just, people assume that he has a fleet of newer trucks. He has 9 trucks. But people will look at his fleet and assume that they can duplicate or replicate what he does, but he started slow and gradually expanded, gradually grew his business to get to where he's at now. It didn't happen overnight. That's what I want for you all to understand as well. So no need to rush.